Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Lauren, and I'm about to guide you through a gentle yoga sequence focused on the third eye chakra. So, I'm not going to get into too much about what that chakra represents, but mostly it refers to your intuition, trusting your gut, knowing that you know what you know, and that if something is or is not sitting right with you, you need to trust yourself. So it's a lot of inward reflection, connecting inward as we move through the chakras, especially when we get to the heart and beyond. That's the focus. It becomes less about the external, less about our interaction with others, and more about our interaction to ourselves, our self-awareness, insight, again, connecting to our intuition. So turning the focus inward, certainly as we get to the third eye chakra. So, a lot of poses that reflect the third eye chakra, as you'll see, are allowing you to physically allow yourself to essentially have to turn inward. So, a lot of forward folding. Um, so, on that note, you are, of course, welcome to start in any comfortable position you like, but let's start in child's pose. And I'm actually going to stay seated because there's something I want to read, and I don't know how well I can read in child's pose. So go ahead and settle again into anything that's comfortable. Of course, laying on your back, legs up the wall, a seated position. Those are all good options, but maybe you take a supported child's pose. And let me add that into, because we're starting here, I don't want it to be your focus. As you're here, I don't want you to think, oh, my lower back, oh, my hips, ooh, this, ooh, like that sort of pulls away. And that's the same thing in Shavasana. Oftentimes students get tempted to take like fish pose or butterfly pose in Shavasana, but then I worry personally that that's where then your mind is. And that's just back to the tangible and the physical and sort of the superficial. So we take time in the middle of the practice. That's most of the practice, right? Is about that, about asana, but it's the whole practice isn't about asana, isn't about just the physical. So all of that to say, my recommendation here is a supported child's pose. So just resting your belly, your chest on something. Maybe you've got a bolster, just taking the bolster and just placing it under your chest, under your belly, under your heart, under your cheek. Maybe you wrap a blanket, a pillow, stack of pillows, a stack of blocks with a blanket over it. For my Maggie Daily people, we did not have bolsters, so that was our makeshift bolsters for a lot of these poses, 2 blocks with a blanket on top. It works just as well. So again, whatever works. Let's settle into something. Allow your arms to rest wherever's comfortable, if that means alongside the body, out in opposite directions, reaching forward. Maybe you rest one cheek, maybe you rest your forehead. Just allow yourself to settle. Notice how it feels to be here in this child's pose, Balasana. So often, again, our mind goes to the physical, to the tangible, to the concrete. And so your mind might go to notice what's happening in your hips or your lower back or your shoulders. And in no way is that wrong. That's absolutely our starting point. We notice what we can see, what we can feel, what we can touch. And so notice the way that this pose feels in your body. Are there any spaces in your body that are holding tension that can allow a little bit more softness? Can you invite a little bit more relaxation into any spot that's holding on? So creating a mindful connection to your body. Communicate with your body. Listen what it has to say. Say something back. Tell your muscles they can soften. Continue to allow the muscles, the joints, the entire physical body to soften. But again, using that as our starting point, now allow your focus to broaden now to the breath. So not completely shifting away from the muscles, from the joints, from this softening, but just allow your field of vision to broaden, to encompass the breath. And just notice. Notice your breath. Notice without judgment where you're breathing into. The answer will probably be different since we're face down instead of face up. So be open to a new possibility. Where is your breath traveling? After it passes through the nose, through the mouth, down the throat, where does it go? Create a mindful connection to your body, your breath. Where do you feel your breath in your body? Keeping a mindful connection to your body and your breath. Broaden this field of vision one more time. Adding on your intention. And I'll give you some suggestions, some affirmations for the third eye chakra. You're welcome to use them, or of course, come to your own affirmation, mantra, or intention. I trust and follow my intuition. I see and am open to all possibilities. I honor my inner knowing and trust my path. All that I seek, I can find within me. I trust and follow my intuition. I see and am open to all possibilities. I honor my inner knowing and trust my path. All that I seek, I can find within me. So silently and slowly repeat your mantra, intention, affirmation a few times here to silently and slowly allow it to settle in your heart. Right, now start to deepen your breath. And as you deepen your breath, create some soft, subtle movements. Maybe wiggle fingers and toes. Roll wrists. Maybe rock the head from side to side. And eventually, slowly start to move around in any way that feels good. So from child's pose, you might allow the hips to sway side to side. Maybe do some circles. Maybe lengthen each leg back one at a time. Roll the ankle around. A few more breaths here. Just allowing some movement after all the stillness. All right. Give yourself 3 more big breaths wherever you want to be. Okay. And we are going to come to a seated position. So take any comfortable seat. All right. So any comfortable seated position will work. All right. Allow your legs to relax. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Soften the shoulders. We're going to start here with the shoulders, actually. So inhale, reach the arms out in opposite directions. Exhale, across the right arm on top of the left, like you're giving yourself a hug. Okay, so we're going to lift the elbows away from the chest so that the elbows point forward. Lift up through the crown of the head, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Okay, now you're welcome to stay here. Crawling the fingertips back, reaching for shoulder blades, feeling it in the backs of the shoulders, in through the shoulder blades. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you rotate at the arms so that your fingers point up towards the sky, backs of the hands together, or maybe the palms together. We're lifting elbows, relaxing shoulders, lengthening the spine. Now, if your arms are in some variation of up. Your forearms are vertical, fingertips to the sky, whether the palms or the backs of the hands are together. Either way, you could stay here. You might add a movement. So inhale, lengthen from the elbows like you're reaching fingertips forward. Exhale, bend at the elbows, fingertips up. Now we're going to go to the right. Inhale, drop over to the right. It's not a big movement. Exhale, bring it back. Now we'll go to the left. Inhale as you drop to the left. Exhale, return. We're going to do that one more time each side. Inhale, forward. Exhale to the center. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the center. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the center. Pause here for a breath. Lengthen the spine. Relax the shoulders. Inhale, reach the arms out in opposite directions. Exhale, across the left arm on top of the right. Crawling fingertips back like you're reaching for your shoulders. Let the shoulders relax away from the ears, but continue to sit up tall. Lift elbows away from the chest. You absolutely can stay here. You might rotate at the arms so fingertips are forward, maybe backs of the hands together, maybe palms. But either way, lift elbows up, draw forearms forward. Check out that your spine and your pelvis is in neutral. And you absolutely could stay here. Or maybe hinging just at the elbows. Inhale, allow the arms to lengthen forward. Exhale, bend. Go to the left now. Inhale to the left. Exhale, return. Inhale to the right. Exhale, return. One more of each. And again, they're not large movements, but you should feel it through the upper back, the shoulders, the arms. A lot of these movements that we do, the point is just to move in ways we don't typically move. So once you come back to the center, return, lift the chest, relax the shoulders. One more breath. Inhale, reach the arms out in opposite directions. Exhale, let the arms come down. Okay, maybe roll the shoulders a little bit, maybe one at a time, maybe together. A few times backwards, a few times forward. Okay. All right, we're going to stay seated a little bit longer. If you're sitting asymmetrically, change the cross of your legs, put the other leg in front or on top. Okay. And then again, comfortable seat, lengthen up through the crown of the head, soften the shoulders. Now we're going to bring attention to the whole spine. So inhale, draw the belly forward, lift your chest, lift your heart. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, ribs back, chin to the chest. Our seated cat and cows. Inhale, draw the belly forward. Exhale, draw the ribs back. Now you can stay here and just focus on your spine, or maybe you allow the arms to get in on it as you draw the heart forward, arms open up wide and back. And then as you exhale, draw the spine back, draw the arms forward like you're wrapping your arms around a really big beach ball. So inhale, opening up, reaching the heart forward, fingertips almost reach back. Exhale, wrapping your arms forward. And a few more like this. Maybe adding the arms, maybe not, but keep shoulders relaxed away from the ears. The focus still is the spine. The shoulders already had quite a bit of attention. Maybe they had enough already, or for right now. Let's do one more of each. And after your next forward fold, rounding forward, fingertips forward, slowly return back to a neutral spine, lengthening up through the crown of the head. Okay, movements from here on out like we normally do. So keep the legs grounded. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, bring the right hand down, left fingertips sweep over. Inhale, return to the center, lengthen up. Exhale, switch sides, left hand down, right fingertips reach. Now continue to keep your seat again grounded. One side isn't lifting up. Keep it down on whatever it is you're sitting on. And if you are feeling like your shoulders maybe did have enough, or even maybe just one of them's feeling like, ugh, can I just have a break? That's fine. You can do these movements kind of keeping the arms low. The focus is the spine. So it's perfectly fine to just omit the arms here or make the movement real small. Let's do just one more on each side though. Moving with your breath. So again, just because we're focused maybe more on the body doesn't mean we've lost the connection to the breath. We've just brought into the focus. Okay, return back to the center. Inhale. Exhale, drop the arms, rotate, turn your heart to the right. Inhale, return to the center. Exhale, drop the arms, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rotate. Now again, keeping the legs grounded. Your hips are going to kind of want to swivel with you. One leg's going to want to come forward. Try to keep this movement just from the waist up. Shoulders relaxed. They're not the focus anymore. Still want to check in with them. Focus on the waist. Focus on the spine. All right, let's do one more each side. Inhale, return back to the center. Lengthen up. Exhale, slowly release the arms. Relax the shoulders. Okay. All right, let's come to tabletop. And we are going to be kneeling for quite a bit. And we're going to be, long story short, we're going to be kneeling for quite a bit. So I would suggest either doubling up your mat, grabbing a blanket, whatever you have to do. But of course, you don't have to. And I always like blocks at the top two corners of the mat. Never hurt anybody. Okay. All right, so we're going to start in tabletop. So just sort of revisiting two of these movements we just did in the spine, this cat and cow movement. So right from tabletop, inhale, drop the belly down towards the ground, lift your chest, lift your heart, look forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, ribs to the sky, chin to the chest, look towards your belly. A few more like this with your breath. Inhale into the back bend. Pull the heart forward, look forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, chin to the chest, look at your belly. Okay. Now notice that this movement can be a little bit larger. Maybe you feel this in more spaces than you did when we were seated. And you absolutely could stay here. Or maybe you allow the torso to move a little bit. So as you drop the belly down and pull your heart forward, you shift your torso forward, keeping the heels of your hands down on the ground. Stretch through the forearms. Exhale, cat pose, rounding through the spine. Allow your hips to shift back. Take an active child's pose. Moving here, inhale, drop the belly, pull the heart forward, pull the whole torso forward. Shoulders come forward of the wrist, feel it in the forearms. Exhale, cat pose, hips back by the heels, active child's pose, arms stay straight. Inhale and exhale. Let's do one more just like this. And then I'm going to give you one more option. So again, you could stay here, or maybe you inhale, shift forward, drop the belly, pull the heart forward. Exhale, shift back, child's pose, active child's pose. Now this time, push the shins and the tops of the feet down into the ground. Inhale, lift the hands, lift the arms. Urdhva Hastasana, lifting the chest, maybe even look up. And then exhale, active child's pose, hips over the heels, hands down on the mat, arms straight, elbows lifted. Inhale, shift forward, cow pose, pull the heart forward. Exhale, active child's pose, hips over heels, arms straight. Push the tops of the feet down. Inhale, lift the hands, lift the arms, circle the chest. Circle the arms, lift the chest, exhale, active child's pose. So this is a moon salutation as opposed to a sun salutation. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, child's pose. Push down through the shins. Inhale, rise, upward salute, kneeling salute. Exhale, child's pose. Let's do a few more like this. Just moving with your breath. Do about 2 more rounds. All right, Ronnie, you're ready. We're all going to meet back in child's pose. It can be an active child's pose. It can be a passive child's pose. We won't stay long. We'll take another child's pose for a few breaths here. So settle in, take 3 deep breaths. Now slide your hands so your hands come under your shoulders. Push your hands into the ground. Lift your chest, lift your torso. We're going to come back to tabletop, but this time just for a moment, we're going to make our way up to standing. So I would probably actually push your support that was under your knees off to the side. All right. So from tabletop, walk the hands 1 whole handprint closer to the top of the mat. Spread the fingers. Hook the toes under. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's stay for a few breaths. You know, you can move, you can stay still, you can wiggle, you can fidget. See what this pose feels like in your body in a mindful way. Create a connection to your body, your breath, your mind. This is the intention of yoga, to yoke, the union of the body, the breath, the mind. So stay for about 3 to 5 more breaths. And either down dog, maybe come back to child's pose. All right. From downward facing dog, deeply bend the knees. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel forward. Take baby steps, walk forward, come to forward fold, Uttanasana. We're going to stay for several breaths. So take whatever feels good. Wiggle, move, adjust, sway, rock the head, shift your weight. Trust that whatever your body is asking you to do, whatever movement feels like it is calling to you, trust that your body is asking that of you. And even if it's not a quote unquote yoga pose, it's all right. Move in ways that feel good. Stay for about 3 more breaths. All right, come back to a traditional forward fold. So weight back in the heels, soft bend in the knees. Let your upper body just relax. Push the heels into the ground. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Push the heels down. Inhale, rise all the way up. Circle the arms, lift the chest, maybe add a back bend. Bring your hands to your heart. Take a deep breath. All right, let's do a few more. Inhale, circle the arms, lift the chest, lift the heart, maybe look up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Push the heels down. Inhale, rise, lift the chest, circle the arms. Maybe look up. Two more like that. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Push down through the heels. Inhale, rise, reach, lift. One more. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Lift the chest. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Take a deep breath. Tadasana. Notice how you feel in more than just a physical way. One big breath here in Tadasana. All right. Now from here, you're going to face the long end of your mat. So you probably know where I'm going with this. We're going to take at least one block, if you've got it, place it to the center of your mat towards the side you're going to face. And we're going to set up here. All right. So starting, I guess, wherever your feet are, they don't have to start hip distance. You're going to start to walk them out wide. All right. So allow your feet to come out wide. So the hope is that you've taken a wide stance, something similar to that you would take in like a warrior two position. But again, do what feels good. All right. And then check out your feet. We want the outside edges of the feet to make two parallel lines. So often we have to hook the big toes in a little. Okay. Now push down through the pinky toe sides of the feet. Feel it through the outside of the foot, outside of the ankle, outside of the calf. Bring the hands to the hips. Lengthen the spine. Soften the shoulders. Take a breath. And inhale. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward, hinge at your hips, just like you would when your feet are hip distance apart, just like you just did. And then bring the hands down onto whatever support you've got. Okay. And so remember, especially if you're using a block, which I think might be out of frame, I am now realizing. It's got 3 different heights, so do what works. So to take a little bit milder of a stretch, you'll allow the chest to stay lifted, crown of the head forward, tailbone back, thinking about the spine sort of parallel to the floor. Or maybe you hinge forward at the hips a little bit more. Think about your belly button pointing down towards the ground, your belly button pointing through your legs towards the wall behind you. Instead of belly button towards your face, can you get belly button through your thighs? Okay, now ground through the heels, the outside edges of the feet. And we're going to stay for several breaths, take any movement that feels good. So maybe that's stillness. Maybe, just like earlier, you grab onto opposite elbows and sway, shake the head yes and no. Maybe you bring the hands by your lower back, interlace the fingers, reach the knuckles up and overhead. Maybe you softly bend into one knee, keeping the other one straight, and switch. But again, there are really limitless options. Move in ways that feel good as long as you're moving in a slow, mindful, thoughtful way where you are connected to your body, breath, and mind. Trust that you are safe. Trust that you know your body. Trust your intuition. So let's stay wherever you're at for a few more breaths. We'll stay for 5 more deep breaths. All right, now slowly return back to the center with both legs fairly straight. Grab onto some sort of support, a block, whatever you've got. Allowing the chest to lift, crown of the head forward. All right, now shift the weight again back into the heels, outside edges of the feet. Really ground here. Find stability, a strong foundation. With the weight strongly in the feet, bring the hands to the hips. Inhale, rise, lifting the torso, crown of the head up, chest up, shoulders relaxed, and then you can heel toe the feet back together. Maybe roll out the ankles, because maybe your ankles are feeling it as much as mine. I don't know, but ooh. Okay. All right. You can come back to face forward. Maybe bring your prop with you. Okay. Weight back in the heels, feet hip distance apart. Push down through the feet, reach up through the crown of the head, soften shoulders, take a breath. Inhale, circle the arms, lift the chest, maybe look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands down, step one foot back, doesn't matter to me which one. And then step the other one back, come to down dog. This will probably be our last down dog, so take any movement here, any version, or take tabletop, take some cat and cows, take a child's pose. Take whatever feels good in this sort of orientation for about 5 more breaths. Okay. All right, now let's meet in tabletop. All right. From tabletop, we're going to come back to a variation of child's pose. So you might be kneeling on some more support if your knees need it. You also, because we're doing child's pose again, and it's such a common pose, there's a lot of support you can use, especially in your feet and ankles. So of course the knees might want a little cushion, the tops of the feet might want cushion, the ankles might need a little bit more room. So you might sort of ball something up, place it sort of at the top of the foot, top of the foot, front of the ankle, to give yourself a little bit of room. You could put something under the backs of the knees, behind the knees, so the knee doesn't deeply bend so much. Whatever you got to do. We won't be here as long as we were at the beginning. All right. And actually you do need blocks. Or again, this really even again could be a pillow. You could use the wall even. A chair. A chair would work too, actually. Okay, with something with a little height. Okay. A bolster. Okay. All right, but if you've got blocks, which I think most of you do, we're going to start with them on their lowest height. Okay. You're going to set more or less your lower half up in child's pose, but hands on the blocks. So I like to position it so my fingertips can sort of curl around so I can really feel like I'm gripping it, right? But maybe you just have them on the tops and that's fine. But you're going to allow your hips to come back towards your heels, but let the arms reach forward. So we want to keep the elbows bent. I'm sorry. You want to keep the elbows straight. So if your elbows are bending, crawl your arms forward. I almost want it to feel like your fingertips are being pulled forward, but your hips are being pulled back. So allow yourself to settle in. So hips back towards the heels. So lower half again, just in a regular child's pose, but now our hands, our arms are a little elevated. So notice how this feels in your body. Take 3 more breaths here. Okay. Now slowly, one hand at a time, bring your hands under your shoulders. Push your hands into the ground, lift your chest, lift your torso. Okay, roll the shoulders around, take a movement that feels good. So most likely you felt something through the shoulders, an opening through the shoulders, through the upper and mid back as well. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to do that again. If you liked it just as it was, you could stay there. If you felt like you needed a little bit more, then you're going to elevate your arms a little bit more. So what's nice about, let's say if you were using a chair, like if you had the legs of a chair, you could just crawl your hands up. Then you sort of have infinite options, right? Just crawling the hands up. But if you've got blocks, one of the nice things about blocks is they have 3 heights. The third height is a lot. It's a deep stretch. So I would just start with the second, but again, just elevating the arms is going to create a deeper stretch. So if you're ready for it, come on into it. I need another 1 or 2 more breaths. Whew. Okay, so again, you can come back to a regular child's pose, arms just on the ground, maybe arms alongside your body. Maybe your hands on heights, on any height of the block, whatever you need, but allow the hips to draw back. Maybe the knees come out a little wider this time. Maybe they come a little narrower. The position of the legs and the hips affects not just the hips, it affects the spine in this pose. And then notice that the ribs and the heart draw down. Maybe you let your head hang, maybe your forehead touches the ground. But again, allow yourself to lengthen like you're being pulled in 2 opposite directions. Arms and hands and fingers forward, hips back. And connect to your breath. Stay for 3 more breaths. And again, one hand at a time, slowly release, slide one hand under the shoulder. Do the same with the other. Bring the hands down, push down, lift the chest. Okay, we're going to take a seated position. So we might as well come to that seat, which I would prefer is on some height. And then when you get there, then feel free to move everything around however you want. Whew. Okay. All right. We're going to come to our legs, give the upper body a break for a moment. So, all right, we're going to start with both legs long in front of us, okay? Keep the right leg long, and we'll bend the left knee. Bottom of the foot down onto the ground. Oh, that's not true. You know what's funny is I thought to myself, I bet they think they know where I'm going with this pose, but they don't because I'm not doing the twist. And then I cued it like I was doing the twist. We are going to bend the left knee, but we're kind of draping it over. You start almost as if you're in like figure 4, but close the gap. Okay. So thighs are together, no space between the thighs. That cue might sound familiar because this is a pose we often do on our backs, but I'm having us do it seated. Okay. So top knee is bent. It's like the kneecap is facing forward. The twist is where the kneecap faces the sky, foot flat on the ground. Now it's like the bottom of the foot sort of faces the wall or behind you and your kneecap is forward. All right, now, mirroring you, you're going to pick up your right hand, place your right hand down, pick your left side up. We're going to bend the bottom knee. So bend that bottom knee. So same thing, the kneecap is going to face forward instead of up towards the sky. This one's going to come up towards you just a minute. Maybe you can walk that foot or pull that foot back and then drop your left side back down. So you might have to bring it up on some more height. That's why I like blankets, because you can just kind of fold it over and then voila. But whatever you need. But what we're looking for, even if your thighs are not necessarily touching, we just want the kneecap sort of more forward. That just shows me that the rotation of the hip, of the thigh at the hip, is what we're after. That's what we really want. And then for those of you who are extra bendy, see if you can get the feet and the ankles, the heels, a little bit in towards the hips, like you're drawing the hips towards their opposite heels, or other way around, but I think you get it. Okay. So there's some stretches here through the hips, through the thighs, nothing too intense, nothing too sharp or shooting, nothing sharp or shooting at all, not too sharp or shooting, nothing sharp or shooting at all. Okay, but you've got options. You might bring some support in front of you. You might not need it, but you could just stay right here. Let the arms rest here, wherever, right? Or maybe to deepen this stretch, inhale, reach the crown of the head up. Exhale, keeping your hips down, your seat down, sit bones down, start to fold forward. Maybe letting the hands or the forearms come down onto, again, the mat, some support, whatever you got, whatever you need. But we want to make sure that you're not picking your seat up. Your seat is down, you're still touching whatever you're sitting on. Maybe not quite as much, that's okay. But you're still down, anchored somewhere, not just in the arms or the knee, right? Okay. So pay attention to how your shoulders feel. We've given them quite a bit of attention. But as you're here, especially whether you're on your hands or your forearms, if you shrug into your shoulders, maybe you drop your head chin to the chest, Or maybe it feels better to keep pushing down into the ground to keep the chest lifted, lengthening up through the crown of the head. There's not a right or a wrong. It really is about what feels good in your body. So trust that you know your body. Trust that you are listening, that you're hearing, you're communicating properly. Notice what you feel. Take 3 more deep breaths here. Now, if you're folding forward, bring your hands down onto something, maybe onto some support. Push the hands down. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the torso, reach through the crown of the head. All right. Now we can release out of the pose. Same way we came in it, so maybe leaning a little bit over to the right, lengthening that bottom leg, lengthening the top leg. Take any movement that feels good. So that has the potential to be a really deep stretch. So if it felt intense, if it felt like a lot, that's okay. That's perfectly normal. Again, nothing should be sharp shooting or painful, but this is a deep stretch. So if that means you got to come out of it a little earlier, you got to lean out of it, that's fine. Really just listen to your body. Okay. So starting with both legs long, we're going to keep the left leg long, bend the right knee like you're coming to figure 4, but sliding the leg over all the way. As we were in this pose, I was just thinking, it's sort of the pose that we are just in. It's sort of like we took butterfly pose, but picked one leg up and then like crossed them kind of, right? So it's this hip opener, but we've added another element of the hips, which is the outside. Okay. That sort of made me lose my train of thought. Okay, we're sliding that leg over all the way. So again, like you're closing it. Okay, and then you're gonna lean over to your left side, pick up the right side, allow the bottom knee to bend. So we want the kneecaps to face forward. So that might mean your feet are out. It might mean your knees are up. It might mean your knees are not touching. It might mean a lot of different things. It's not gonna maybe look like the way it looks in my body, and that's okay. So we gotta find where we wanna be, where it feels good. So changing the support you're sitting on, maybe drawing the feet out. Maybe if, again, you feel a little more bendy, if you're looking for a little bit more, maybe the feet come tightly in. But again, make sure that the right side of your seat connects back down to the ground. So you might have to support one side more than the other. Again, that's okay. As long as it sort of evens out. Okay. Maybe you have support, maybe you don't. Most people can touch the ground here. I like resting my forearms. I like giving my wrists a break. Okay. So maybe you just place your arms wherever's comfortable and you just sit up tall and you just stay here. This feels really good here, maybe. Or maybe you inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, fold forward, but keep your seat down. So it might lift up a little bit. That's okay. But we don't want it to lift up too much. So keep dropping your tailbone down and back. Maybe bring the hands or forearms down onto some support, maybe onto the mat. So make any adjustments, wiggle, fidget, move, whatever you got to do. Think about dropping your seat down towards the ground. And then again, checking in with your arms. So again, there's not a right or a wrong. I know it probably looks like there is a right and a wrong here, but there really isn't. You're welcome to keep pushing your hands or your forearms down, lifting your chest, reaching up through the crown of the head so that your spine is long and a straight line. Or maybe you sort of allow your heart to sag, drop the chin to the chest, look towards your belly. It really is about what feels best for you in this moment. And then can you soften? Even though there is maybe a deep stretch happening, check in with your body and relax and release any tension. And check in with your breath. Take big, deep breaths. Check in with your mind. Come back to the present. Notice how you feel in a variety of ways. Stay here for 3 more breaths. Bring your hands under your shoulders, maybe on some support. Push your hands into the ground. Inhale, rise, lifting your torso, lifting your spine. Returning upright. All right, and then we will release out of the pose, leaning over to the left side, allowing that leg to lift, lengthen, take whatever feels good. And our next position will be a seated position. We're going to be here for a little bit, so take a really comfortable one. Okay. And if that means up against the wall, whatever. Okay. So find a comfortable seated position. We're going to move through pranayama, some breath work. And this is a different variation, a different tradition often does breath work right before Shavasana. So we are going to be moving into Shavasana right after the breath work. So even maybe now, if you want to put on layers, if that means sort of setting anything up, maybe. But especially for this particular breath work that we're going to come through, it is considered a calming, cooling, relaxing breath work. And so is belly breathing, and we do that at the beginning of the practice, but this is just it's a little different. And so we just really save it for right before Shavasana, right before we come to something very cool, calm, collected, relaxing, soft, etc. Okay, so we're coming to Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. You'll just allow your left hand to rest wherever feels comfortable. So I'm not mirroring you here. So you're going to rest your left hand wherever. You're going to take your right hand and separate your fingers so that you sort of got three kind of groups of them. Keeping the elbow down, shoulder relaxed instead of kind of cocked out to the side. You're going to place your thumb on the tip of your right nostril, your pointer finger and middle finger sort of just above the point where your eyebrows meet. So that's right about your third eye. And then the ring finger and pinky finger at the tip of your left nostril. So you're just resting your fingertips just at the tip of the nostril. And we're going to be closing one nostril off at a time to be taking these breaths. You're not pushing very hard. It's very soft. It's very gentle. Again, Shavasana's around the corner, right? So if this helps you as we're moving through this, often we think about a breath as an inhalation first and an exhalation second. For this, think about it as the opposite. We exhale, we've got to get all the breath out and then take a deep breath in. Think about your lungs and think about your breath like an elevator or a subway train. You've got to get out what's already in there, right? Before you can bring in something new. So think exhale, then inhale. Okay. So lengthen up through the crown of the head, soften the shoulders again. Instead of letting the elbow sort of reach out to the side, let the arm relax, hand is sort of in front of the face. Just let the arm do as little work as possible. Okay, so take a deep breath in through both nostrils. Inhale, exhale, inhale. Close off the right nostril. Exhale through just the left. Inhale through the left. Switch. Close off the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Switch. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Switch. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Switch. Exhale. Inhale. 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 Switch. One more round. Exhale. Inhale. Switch. Exhale. Inhale. Switch. Exhale. And release your right hand. Allow yourself to breathe naturally through both nostrils. One big breath here through both nostrils evenly. All right, let's set up for Shavasana. So take whatever you need to make that happen. Set yourself up in the most comfortable position you can imagine. But simultaneously, somewhere where your focus is not just on your body, or you're not thinking, ooh, this is a good back bend, or ooh, ooh. Just be somewhere. Just be somewhere where you can come into the practice of pratyahara, releasing from your senses. So soft, so relaxed, so gentle through each and every one of your senses. You sort of release them. You're not distracted. You're not being pulled away by anything physical. Your breath is relaxed. Your breath is natural, even and flowing. And so maybe you come back to your own mantra, intention, or affirmation, but I will again give you some as suggestions. I trust and follow my intuition. I see and am open to all possibilities. I honor my inner knowing and trust my path. All that I seek, I can find within me. I trust and follow my intuition. I see and am open to all possibilities. I honor my inner knowing and trust my path. All that I seek, I can find within me. Slowly deepen your breath. Deepen your breath. Bring awareness back to your body. Bringing your focus awareness back to your body, into the room. Maybe wiggle fingers and toes. Rock the head side to side. Roll wrists and ankles. Move arms and legs. Maybe take a full body stretch, reaching fingertips and toes in opposite directions. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, hug your knees into your chest and roll over onto either side. Use the strength of both arms to push down into the ground. Come up to a comfortable seat. Take a moment here to thank yourself for making it to your mat, for prioritizing your health in every sense of the word. And maybe reflect one more time on your intention. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. And may the thoughts, words, and actions of my life contribute in some way to the happiness and freedom for all. Now let's join the hands together in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra. Light, or the good in me, acknowledges, respects, and bows to the light or the good in you. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for following along. So I'll post some information about the third eye chakra. But again, as we get into these upper chakras, it's clearly more of like a meditative practice, less about the body, less about the poses themselves, and more about what can you do internally while you're in these poses. What do these poses give you the opportunity to do? So you probably noticed a lot of this forward folding, forward bending, this opportunity to really look at inward in every sense, right? And even that calming breath work. It's different allowing it sort of right before Shavasana, right? And I loved being able to teach it again because we're wearing masks right now, which I think is a smart, safe decision. And I am really happy when people are wearing their masks, and I wear mine all the time. But as a yoga teacher, we're limited right now. So I get it, but we can't do this breath work. So we can only do it virtually. So thank you for being able to do it, I guess, being able to be my one group that I can do it with. So that's a great practice to do. You can do that lying down. Like if you're laying in bed or whatever, you can do it. It's just a little funky, but it's a great practice to come to anytime you're feeling. So if you're like me, maybe feeling that way the last year and a half or so. Well, thank you again for joining me. I hope you moved in a way that felt good, that felt intuitive, and just continue to check in with, again, your body, your breath, and yourself in every sense of the word. So thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.